So I'm continuing with the items of current relevance from January of 2022. So it's right now. And I already did on the last video, numbers 1 through 10. Now I'm gonna do number 11, and I put my phone on airplane mode so we won't be disturbed for the rest of the video. And we're almost there. I just wanna make sure you guys know this information. So with the exclusive agency listing, remember that's the one where the seller can sell to anybody else, and they reserve the right not to pay you a commission if they sell it without you. So on the exclusive agency form, they have a new name for it, and it is called Residential Listing Agreement Seller Reserve. So that's saying the seller reserves the rights to sell to somebody else without you, and you don't get a commission. The next one I have is number 12. What is the minimum number of units that could be considered a principal residence? And the answer is 4. So remember, it's 1 to 4 in your residential properties. Number 13, if an owner of a cornfield, the cornfield is a popular question. I know I explained it in the class, but somebody says we didn't. An owner of a cornfield had corn growing on his land. What would this be an example of? And the answer is A, a fixture, because the owner is growing the corn on it. It's considered a fixture. Number 14, if a tenant farmer planted corn on leased land, what would this be an example of? And the answer is B, an implement, which is crop planted by the tenant farmer, are considered implements. Remember that word, implement? So I'm surprised to see some of these because I know they're in our class, but sometimes they're hard questions. Number 15, on our items of current relevance. In which case does the seller need to provide the buyer the lead-based paint disclosure form in target housing? And the answer is lead-based paint concerns are for babies, not for elderly or handicapped. So it says single-family homes built 1976. So if they're newer than 1976, meaning 1977, 78, 79, 80, those won't have lead-based paint because my dad, really seriously, has a patent on getting the lead out of the paint, and he did that in the early 70s. Isn't that cool? Got a smart dad. Next one, it goes like this. What is not an element of value? And the answer is location. So transferability, scarcity, utility. Remember, this is the one that's stud or dust. So location, L, isn't in stud or dust, okay? So it's not location. Let's see on the next page. Here we go. Who reports the sale to the IRS? And that would be escrow. So B is in boy. All of the following loans require a balloon payment except. So a balloon payment would be if the loan is not fully amortized. So it says all of the following loans require a balloon payment except, and that would be your fully amortized loan. The fully amortized loan does not have a balloon payment, but a neg am might, an ARM, adjustable rate mortgage, or a partially amortized loan. Those three would probably have a balloon payment. Number 19, who controls zoning? And I know you guys know this one. It's the local authority controls zoning, which is cities and counties. So the next one, the Federal Fair Housing Law provides for the United States policy of providing fair housing for all persons throughout the United States. So that's a good one, the fair housing one. Next one is what type of entry door is required between the garage door and the entrance to the house? And I know we don't say that in the class, but it has to be self-closing. So you know those little things, you have to make sure that when you go into the garage, the door shuts automatically, so it's on a spring, and it has to be a fire door. So if there's a fire in the garage, it doesn't get into the house. So the answer on that one is these types of doors would provide from, I can't talk all of a sudden, it must be the 8 hours or starting at 8:30 this morning, cram course. So it is, these types of doors would provide some fire protection, and it is D, both A and B, and it's a fire door and a self-closing door. It's really one door, kind of, because you have a fire door that's self-closing, right? All right, next one. Regarding backfill, remember we said backfill in class today, which of the following would be of most concern for backfill? And the answer is D, compaction and stability. Compaction and stability, D is in dog. That's most concern regarding backfill. Let's see, where am I at? I think I'm on the last page. Oh man, there's like 2 more pages. But we can do this. It's Sunday. I really wanted to go to church, but we got out late and we had lots of questions, and that's cool because I want to make sure you guys all pass your real estate tests. So, the proper way to calculate a broker's commission. You guys want to know how to calculate your commission, right? Your commission is based on your sales price. So the answer is your commission equals your sales price times the commission you're getting. So if you're getting 3% and the sales price is $500,000, that's $15,000. But wait, don't forget, you get a percentage of that. So if you're working at a place and you're brand new and you're getting 50% and the commission's $15,000, your broker gets $7,500 and you get $7,500. Next one. Number 24. I sound like I'm on Jeopardy. The real estate licensee may lawfully refuse to show a home to a minority prospect who has requested to see it in which of the following situations? Oh, this is an old question. And the answer is when the owner of the home is out of town and has instructed the listing agent not to show the property while they're out of town. So they didn't do it discriminatory because the person was of some type of racial discrimination thing that they were doing. They did it because they said everybody can't see our house while we're out of town, okay? So let me read that one again. The real estate licensee may lawfully refuse to show a home to a minority prospect who has requested to see it in that situation, that the homeowner said nobody can see it, okay? They're not singling anybody out. Number 25 on your sheet of items of current relevance. A lender wants to change a client. Wait, it says a lender wants to charge. Sorry, God. Wow. A lender wants to charge a client an additional 8% because English is their second language. This action would be discrimination due to the minority status of the borrower. So it's illegal. Okay. You can't charge somebody more just because they have a different nationality or they have a heavy accent. Okay. You just slow down a little bit and listen to them, okay, and help them. And the next one is for sales associates to become an office manager, they must have been in the business for at least 2 years. It says 2 years in the business out of the last 5 years working in any office. So 2 years of the last 5 years. The licensee must be in the business for 2 years out of the last 5 years working for any broker in order to be an office manager. So they don't have to be a broker to be an office manager. Now this is the one that a lot of people have problems with. It's the Township Sections. So it says Township Sections, areas, and miles. So it actually has them written out, and it looks like they're written smaller, or I'm just tired. It says a township is a square piece of land 6 miles by 6 miles. It is 6 miles square and contains, this is one of the answers, 36 square miles. A section is a square piece of land 1 mile by 1 mile. It is 1 mile square and 1 mile, it says 1 square mile, and it contains, you have to know this, 640 acres. An acre contains 43,560 square feet, and a mile contains, I was just told these were just on the test, 5,280 linear feet. So some numbers you got to remember. You don't have to calculate them, you just have to know them. Fragmented information, some extra information that we have from some feedback. A husband and wife ownership is not required in joint tenancy. So you don't have to be married to have joint tenancy. Like my brother and I bought a home in Irvine and it's his name and my name as joint tenants. We don't have to be married, okay? You could be fiancés or whatever you want to do, or family members. Appraisers in California must take a uniform standards of professional appraisers practice each time they renew their license. So they have to take a class. It's USPAP, so USPAP. How about that? An old storefront would be an example of an incurable functional obsolescence. So they have not done a new store, it still looks really bad, so that's a functional obsolescence. Because they can fix it, right? Remember, functional is fixable. If a seller counter offer is rejected by the buyer, so the buyer is the offeror, and they give it to the seller, they're the offeree, and they come back and the seller's counter offer is rejected by the buyer, the seller can accept other offers. Of course they can. One type of accession is accretion. So accession, A-C-C-E-S-S-I-O-N, if you don't have the paper, is accretion. Accretion is when property gets bigger because land is coming to it because of wind or water. And trigger terms. Trigger terms are an MLO question. So trigger terms have a number in them, like how many payments, the house payment number, how many months, all kinds of different numbers. There's a number in a trigger term. So trigger terms would include no down payment and how many months. That's interesting because I teach the mortgage class and it says trigger terms would include no down payment and how many months. I need to look that one up for you guys. I know that we research all this stuff, but when there's no down payment, that is a number. So that could be a triggering term. But I know from teaching, I know a little bit better than that. When I teach the mortgage class, it says on VA loan, when you say no down payment, that means no down payment. So this is what you get, one of the forms you get. It's an extra form that we added to make sure we had everything we possibly can give you so that you can study it, know the material, so that when you're working in the field, you know the stuff and you're a great real estate agent. And I wish you the best on passing your real estate exam.